Good morning, folks. Ari here from Direct Auto Outlet in Fair Oaks, California. This will be a comparison video, and to the left over here we have a 2003 Ford Explorer Sport Trac, and to the right we have the all-new 2022 Ford Maverick Lariat in the hybrid powertrain. We will be comparing these two vehicles and seeing if that all-new 2022 Ford Maverick is really all new after all. Taking a look, first and foremost, we'll be looking at the dimensions of the two vehicles to see what differences that we see. We have them parked virtually side by side, as you can see. The Ford Explorer Sport Trac is slightly taller than the Ford Maverick, pretty much on the hood, the roof, and on the bed. You can see some differences in the height of the two vehicles. The Explorer does have a taller stance, and if you look at their bed size, you can see that the Ford Explorer Sport Trac also has a slight benefit in bed length, and it is just ever so slightly longer in length as well. So dimensions wise, just about in every dimension you can imagine, this one is a little bit larger. Taking a look at the rears, you'll notice that the Explorer Sport Trac does have a bit of a taller stance and a taller presence. When the Ford Explorer Sport Trac first debuted, it was not intended to be a compact pickup truck. However, compared to today's standards, just because everything else has gotten larger, it has become so. This 2022 Ford Maverick Lariat trim is a 5-passenger vehicle, as is the Ford Explorer Sport Trac. The Ford Explorer Sport Trac comes with a single overhead cam, 4-liter V6 engine, whereas on the Maverick here we have a 2.5-liter Atkinson cycle 4-cylinder with hybrid powertrain. Power numbers are actually not as surprisingly different as you would imagine. They do perform and drive very differently, and I will explain. Taking a look at them, you can see the similarities. Obviously, both Ford trucks, and the Ford Explorer Sport Trac, I always say, was a little bit ahead of its time. This configuration of truck slash SUV was something that we value now and we lack in the market, but back then there wasn't really a huge demand for it. First, we'll go ahead and take a quick look at the interior of the Ford Maverick and compare that to that of the Explorer Sport Trac. As you can see, the interior is quite roomy and spacious on both vehicles, but first starting out with the Maverick, you'll see that the door panels are quite functional. The seating positions and seats themselves are very comfortable. You have quite a bit of width and height inside, so even if you are a taller driver or passenger, you will find that headspace and shoulder room are ample. Leather wrapped steering wheel, 2 cup holders up front, and a center console that has plenty of space inside. Climate control and many of the technological aspects of the vehicle are going to be advanced, just because there is nearly a 20-year difference in the production dates of these vehicles. We'll go ahead and take a quick look at the Ford Explorer Sport Trac in comparison. You'll notice that the Ford Explorer Sport Trac is also quite roomy inside. It is dressed up with leather and has power seats, leather-wrapped steering wheel. Center console is slightly longer on this one and a little bit more spacious. Also has 2 cup holders with analog climate control and a double-din aftermarket stereo system. They are both equipped with a moonroof. Leg space is ample on this. Once you're sitting inside this vehicle, you'll notice that it does feel a little bit more narrow inside. So for those larger drivers and passengers, you'll find that you'll have a little bit more space in the Maverick as far as the width is concerned. Your shoulders might be actually rubbing with driver and passenger, whereas that's not the case with the Maverick. With the Maverick, you have quite a bit of shoulder room and headroom for such a small vehicle. Passenger side is also quite roomy. Dashboard is a little bit higher up. The vehicle itself is a little bit lower to the ground. Glove compartment is a good size, but it could be a little bit larger. You do have some additional storage space down over here where you do not with the Ford Explorer Sport Trac. Center console, again, just a little bit smaller. And again, both equipped with a moonroof. Door panels are a little bit more spacious on the Maverick as compared to the Sport Trac. wheels and tires are obviously also larger. Well, to be exact, the wheels are smaller, but you have taller tires. Overall dimensions, 18-inch wheels on the Maverick. We have 16-inch wheels there. Different profile of tire, taller stance. The biggest difference between these two vehicles, first and foremost, is the Explorer Sport Trac is on a truck chassis. It's a chassis on frame vehicle, whereas the Maverick is a unibody vehicle. Unibody vehicle construction allows for more comfort and a little bit better ride quality as compared to the truck. If you've ever heard the phrase, it rides like a truck, well, because this one is actually on a truck chassis, on a truck frame. This one, having been a little bit taller, does incorporate running boards, which you don't really need with the Maverick. Passenger side space is pretty good. Again, a little bit narrower inside. Glove compartment, not much improved. As a matter of fact, I think it's actually a little bit smaller with the Explorer Sport Trac. Cargo space in the door panel is also a little bit smaller. Go ahead and take a look at the rear seating area. Rear seating area is quite ample. 3 adults can sit back over here. However, the person sitting in the center will be a little bit cramped. Leg space is ample. Head space is ample. Shoulder room is adequate in this one. No storage space on the door panels on the rear. You do have a large roll-down power window in the center section over here on the Sport Trac, and you have a small sliding one on the Maverick, which we'll demonstrate in just a moment. You do have these additional tie-downs on the sides of the bed, on the exterior of the bed on the Sport Trac, where you have them on the interior of the bed. But we'll get more into that as we get into that section where we demonstrate the bed. Again, additional cargo space on the door panels in the Maverick, and you do have a little bit more width. As you can see, the bottoms of the seats are also a little bit longer, and the back side's a little bit taller, adding for a little bit more comfort. This middle section, small window back there, is power adjustable on the Lariat trim, and obviously a lot more safety options with these. Without further ado, these are trucks after all, so let's go ahead and get into the bed space. Neither one gives you any dampening, although we do have a shock absorber and dampening on order for this. We actually ordered a total of 11 accessories for this truck approximately about a month before we got the truck, and we're still waiting for several of those accessories. We will be putting out a separate accessory video outlining all of those soon, but we are still waiting for 3 more accessories to come in. Again, no self-dampening on either one. Looking at the Explorer Sport Trac, actually on the interior of the bed, it looks like it's a little bit shorter. You don't look like you have quite as much space. I'll have to get a tape measure out and measure. Actually, looks like you have more bed space with the Maverick. It is slightly longer, also appears to be a little bit wider. Very interesting. I actually didn't expect that. The wheel arch humps on the interior of the bed do not take a ton of space. And much like the Maverick, you also have a power outlet over there. It looks like a 12 volt, 20 amp. With the Maverick, you have 120 volt, 400 watt household outlet with additional lights. The tie downs and adjustable hooks are on the interior on the Maverick, as you can see there. Whereas on the Ford Explorer Sport Trac, they are on the exterior. Both are fine. There's not really any huge benefit from one to the other than the fact that on the Maverick it just does stow away and get out of the way of sight and your side of view. Both have functional beds, however they do lack as compared to their full-size competition. But they are so similar. When you say Ford Maverick, for those of you who are old enough, you think of some small Ford Pinto looking vehicle from the 70s. Not really sure why Ford decided to use that name. I would have actually preferred if they called it the all-new Ford Explorer Sport Trac, or, you know, something of that sort. It would have given it a little bit more of a rugged feel. We'll go ahead and pop the hood and take a look. 2 yanks on the hood on this one. And looking underneath the hood on this one, you will see a 4-cylinder Atkinson cycle engine. I'm gonna go ahead and put the phone down for just a moment to use the hood prop, which reminds me of one additional difference. The other one actually has a shock to hold the hood up. This engine is a little bit more friendly as far as the way it's configured. This one is a 2.5 liter Atkinson cycle 4-cylinder engine. The gasoline engine itself puts out 162 horsepower, and combined with the electric motor puts out a combined horsepower of 191. This is an eCVT transmission, not to be confused with a regular CVT transmission. The eCVT transmission actually puts out about 60 to 70% less moving parts than a conventional CVT transmission, making it a lot more reliable. The Atkinson cycle just refers to how the internal components of the engine is configured and how they work in conjunction with one another. Now let's go ahead and take a look under the hood on the Ford Explorer Sport Trac. Ford Explorer Sport Trac does have shock absorbers that hold the hood up. Here you will see your 4-liter single overhead cam V6 engine. A little bit less friendly in the way it's put together. In the aspect of a mechanic working on this vehicle, it is a lot more challenging to work on this vehicle. Your coils and your spark plugs and a lot of other components are a lot more difficult to get to, and there's a lot less room to work around here. However, this one does have a little bit more horsepower, coming in at 210 horsepower, and this one is equipped with a 5-speed automatic transmission. This vehicle is available in a 2-wheel drive as well as a 4-wheel drive, whereas on the Ford Maverick, the hybrid version at least only comes in a 2-wheel drive. However, you can get the all-wheel drive if you do go to the EcoBoost. Go ahead and set the camera down here to let the hood prop down once again. One advantage to the Ford Explorer Sport Trac. However, I personally I'm a big fan of the hood props, and I prefer them over the shocks because they don't ever wear out. The biggest difference, the elephant in the room here, is probably just the fuel economy. Fuel economy on these vary greatly. Now, Ford originally rated the Explorer Sport Trac at 17 city and 21 highway, but in real life driving you really don't get that. On the Explorer Sport Trac or the Explorer, which both had the same powertrain, you would be right around 15 to 17 miles per gallon on average on any given day, whereas with the Ford Maverick I am getting consistently in the high 40s or even 50 if I try to be careful on how I accelerate and how quickly I brake. It is not difficult to get 50 miles to the gallon on the Maverick. However, you will get about 1/3 of that, less than 1/3 of that in some cases, depending on your driving habit, on the Ford Explorer Sport Trac. Capability wise, the Explorer Sport Trac does have more ground clearance because it is a little bit taller and higher off the ground. And in later years, with the facelifts that came along with the Explorer Sport Trac, you did get a V8 option as well. Currently with the Maverick, you have a 2.5 liter 4-cylinder option or a 2-liter EcoBoost turbocharged 4-cylinder, which does put out more horsepower than that 4-liter V6 that's in the Sport Trac. Bed space on both are highly usable. Long-term reliability is to be determined, but if we base what we already know about the Explorer Sport Trac and the powertrain that's in that one, that 4-liter single overhead cam V6 in the Sport Trac is quite a great engine, and bulletproof engine as I like to call it. It has held up to the testament of time. This particular one here has over 275,000 miles on it. That is absolutely unbelievable. That is a testament to the quality of the vehicle with minimal maintenance and care. As you can see, this vehicle, this Explorer Sport Trac, has not been kept in a time capsule. It does have dents, dings, scratches. It has been used. It has not been babied. So 275,000 miles is a lot. Now, I don't expect a lot of the same quality standards in the new Ford Maverick, just because we really don't see that same quality standard in really anything anymore. If we were to compare it to the Ford Escape hybrids of the past, the Ford Fusions and the Ford Fusion Energies, then yes, we do expect good reliability to very good reliability, but I have seen several factors on the Maverick that indicate that maybe long-term reliability will not be quite as good. Fit and finish are not quite as good on the Maverick. The paint's a little bit thinner. The windshield's not quite as tough. The interior materials are more prone to scratching and wear than the Explorer Sport Trac. And just in general, the bean counters have gotten the best of us, and they have found a way to make a vehicle more affordable, but in doing that, they make it of lesser quality. But in my personal opinion, being a dealer for almost 15 years, I have seen many of the transmissions on the EcoBoost Fords fail, and I am a much bigger fan of the eCVT transmissions that are in the hybrid versions of these vehicles. I think they're far superior to the transmission you would get in the EcoBoost if past performance on similar vehicles are any indication of future reliability. And just because the engine is not working very hard on these hybrid vehicles, half the time your vehicle is in EV mode, the other half of the time the electric motor and the battery is assisting in the propulsion of the vehicle, making the gasoline version of the engine working a lot less hard. All of that combined, I do foresee good reliability on the Ford Maverick, but only time will tell. I do appreciate all of you hanging out with us to the entirety of the video. If you guys have any questions, please feel free to leave your comments and your questions in the comment section. If you did enjoy the video, please consider giving us a thumbs up and subscribing. Once you do subscribe, please make sure you also hit the bell notification so that you can be notified of all of our future videos. We will be doing a ton of more videos on the 2022 Ford Maverick Hybrid coming in the future, including a towing video and a payload video. They will be on the highway. We will be maxing them out. And we have lots of other plans that are top secret for the moment, teaser, that we will be producing on the Maverick. So please stay tuned for all of those. For all of those who stay tuned with us to the entirety of the video, we do thank you, and we certainly hope to see all of you and see all of your comments in the comment section. Thank you all, and I wish you all a beautiful day.